Hey everybody, welcome back to the Shoot of Hope channel. This is a Hope Speaks podcast. Before we get started today, I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in. This has been an incredible time, and we're just really kicking off the year. January was really our slow month. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some more podcasts, as well as we have our first Back to the Movies session coming up. Yes, we are at the Berwick Theater, and that'll be dropping here on the channel within the next, few days. So hopefully you guys get a chance to check that out. Look forward to that. Today we're joined by the Adventures of Thaddeus Black, a band from Connecticut. As you know, Chuck Peterson has been on the podcast in the past, and we're just so thankful that we can connect with him again, as well as his band members in the Adventures of Thaddeus Black. We're welcomed today by Purcell Jackson, Lawrence V. White, Doug Wilson III, and of course Chuck Peterson. Guys, how are you doing today?
Good, man.
Good. In the dream.
Feeling great.
So I guess the first question, and everybody can kind of jump in, is how did the band get started and where did you guys end up meeting?
Corner of 50 and 7th Avenue. I was scraping for some change, and they found me.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
I had to pay his pimp a lot of money to get him out of the game.
Wow. No, so we all met. Actually, all of us in some capacity have played with one another. Just not all together as a band. Purcell and I have been playing together since I was probably about 14 or 15. I've known Chuck and Lawrence since I was probably like maybe 18 or 19 years old. And because we used to play for a well-known singer in the Connecticut area. And then it's just kind of happened that someone has suggested that we should all play together, and that's what screwed it all up. Now we're playing. So
Blame for that one.
Yeah.
Y'all are welcome.
We're all here.
Yeah.
So you guys have a new EP coming out in March 11th. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's correct. Yep.
So let's talk about that a little bit, or maybe even go back into your prior work, because I was listening to a song the other day on your YouTube channel called Red and Blue. Now, is that, now that's not a cover, correct? That is your song, right? As a band?
That's
Right.
an original. Yep.
Right.
Okay. What was kind of the inspiration behind that? Because I did say I was digging it. I love that song. And you guys did it on the social distancing thing a year ago. So obviously that was when COVID was going on. But tell us a little bit of inspiration behind that song.
It's that ball is in Lawrence and Purcell's court.
Yeah.
So
Purcell,
Lawrence,
I'll
you
let
can
you kick it
start
off.
off. Yeah, you could kick it off, Lawrence, because that actually starts with you.
All right, cool. Yeah, so I mean, honestly, it began as another song that I originally arranged for another singer in the area, and it was supposed to be a remix to a song that was already out, and I had submitted probably 4 or 5 different arrangements, and ended up being the song that they didn't want. I was like, okay, no problem at all, no offense taken. It's not for you, could be for somebody else. I would say probably maybe a couple weeks later, I think we had started to form the whole band. I said, hey, I got a song, might be good for us. Slid it over to Purcell. Purcell had already had the lyrics for it, meshed together and worked it out.
Yeah. It was even weirder than that, because if you remember, we started with a completely different song altogether. I think we put in another 2 or 3 songs first, and then you reminded me, hey, remember this song? I'm like, oh yeah. I actually took a song from I created the lyrics from another song that I had written. I kind of Frankenstein everything together to make it work the way it should, and here it is.
Do you find that a lot of your songs, like a lot of songs that are coming up on this new EP, are they former songs that you've had written in the past that just didn't like go anywhere at first, that was waiting for that perfect timing? Is that kind of how the industry kind of works? Like, give me a heads up into that industry itself, in the music industry. Is that stuff that happens in your everyday artist lives?
I mean, for me, like the lyrics, I literally sit upon a bazillion lyrics that I have sitting here at the desk, either half written or fully written, or I had a tune in my head and it didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. And then all of a sudden, Lawrence or Doug or Chuck will give me a beat or something that says, hey, I got this. And I'll be like, oh, wow, hold on, let me go to the pile. This is a song I did somewhere else, but it never went anywhere. So for me, that's kind of how it goes. I literally just keep an encyclopedia of lyrics that are just sitting here and like that in my head have no meaning until I get the music behind it.
Some of them are organic too. Like we do have some that you'll hear at some point in time. I think Someone to Love, I think was organic. We all came up with that like on the spot.
Yeah.
I think I had the theme of it. Like I wanted to do a song, and I think we ended up doing another version of it on another song. But Someone to Love was just something we all came up with, like right on the spot.
And do you find yourself writing the beat to it first, or does the lyrics come first, or does it like kind of bait and switch? It doesn't really matter which one comes first, or
it's kind of all over the place, right? I mean,
really
just sometimes you just have an idea of just kind of the vibe that you're looking for. I wanted to sound like this, and you could name, I don't know, a Red Hot Chili Pepper song or a song from anyone, and be like, it's just this kind of vibe, and it's like, oh, okay. You could do that and maybe like play with the key, change the key and the tempo and a little bit of changes with this. And it's like, okay, well, here's a starting point. We can have like a riff that sounds like this or a drum beat that sounds like that. And then just kind of move from there and really kind of make something that's how a lot of it works. And then, some of it is, like with Red and Blue is already, that song was almost already done by the time we really started working on it all together. So
yeah,
it could be anywhere. Yeah.
And then do you guys find yourself having to keep Chuck in check throughout all this process?
Yes. I find it necessary that we send down Biff the enforcer to give him a good talking to every now and again because he likes to go off the reservation.
So he's kind of like the last one to hear the song or like understand the beat. It's like you guys get everything else in line, and then he's like, "Okay, we want you to do this with the drums afterwards."
No. Actually, there's been songs that we've come up with the drum beat first, and then everything else came after. However it works out. Sometimes it feels a little bass backwards, but it works.
Yeah. Song called Consideration, and the groove is kind of weird. I came up with it when I was in junior high school, or what they call middle school nowadays, and it was me practicing like a 3-way flam type thing, but didn't quite work. But it worked as a groove, and so I presented it to other artists that I've worked with, bands, and they couldn't do anything with it. So I gave it to these guys. I just started playing it, and they just, they came up with something, like that. So it was pretty impressive. And Purcell had the lyrics to it, and I'm happy because I finally get to use it somewhere after 30 something years.
Well, with that song, actually, initially the drum beat for it was reversed. You like the original drum feel for it that you presented to make it work for the song. We flipped it, and it's actually, we're playing it, I guess, on the 1 and 3 instead of the 2 and 4, if you can think of it that way. Because originally when you presented it to us, I was like, it's going to be hard to make it work this way. I said, what if we just literally just flip the beat, and it's exactly the same, just starting the 1 on a different spot essentially, and it started coming together from there.
Right.
So we
works.
Go ahead.
No, sorry. Go ahead. Finish up what you were going to say.
I was just going to say we still haven't used the original beat yet. We had to flip it first.
Smack it up, flip it, rub it down. Oh no.
Yeah.
No, you could definitely tell by the music. Like you guys put a lot of heart and soul into it. Purcell, let me ask you a question, because like your voice ranges based off different songs, and you can tell the passion, the energy you sing with. So do you take inspiration from certain artists when you sing, or do you just try to really be yourself? And how much do you know how much to put into it? Do you have to like draw yourself back emotionally in between songs? Like, do you just go full out and then find yourself like kind of like pulling yourself back?
To answer you backwards, I literally I practice like I play. It's full in all the time. There's no half stepping with it. It's full throttle for me. No matter what song I'm doing, and the guys will tell you, even in practice, I come in going, yeah, I need to take it easy because we got a gig coming up, and I'll take it easy. But it's almost like me being at a show. I'm doing the same thing that I would do on the stage as I do in practice. And as far as like influence or somebody that I'll tell you straight out, I am a vocal thief. Corey Glover is the guy I'm stealing from, up, down, left, right, left, and center. If I could figure out a way to get his vocal cords into my throat, I would do it. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I've got a lot of influences, but I think his voice is something I've tried to model myself after a lot.
And you guys all have your different influences, whether it's on the bass, the guitar, or the drums?
I know I do. And it's a wide range of drummers because I grew up listening to different styles of music. So I can 1 minute be listening to John Bonham, and the next minute I'll be listening to Art Blakey. And then the next minute I'll be listening to Joey Jordison or Jay Weinberg, playing with Slipknot. Or I could be listening to to Woody Woodson playing "It's Your Thing" by the Isley Brothers. So I have so many different influences that I take little bits and pieces of them. Especially if I hear a piece of music and I'm like, oh, this reminds me of this, so I want to try to put this spin on it, and put that kind of feel on it. But I want to make it like me, I want to put that Chuck Peterson stamp on it. And so when people hear it, they'll be like, oh yeah, okay, that's Chuck with a hint of Jeff Porcaro or a hint of Steve Jordan or Buddy Miles, so as much as I want to sound like myself, which is something I'll always work on, I do pay homage to those before me.
And we try to keep that like as a focus of the band, even in like the mix and recording process. Like, all of us have like the people who we love and who we love to listen to. But, a lot of people, and especially in, 2022, a lot of people are doing things like, sampling drums, or not so much sampling drums, but basically replacing drums. So Chuck will play the whole beat, but they're going to put in a different kick from something that was perfectly recorded. We tried our best to make sure that we just perfectly record it from the start, and make sure that what you hear from Chuck Peterson is going to be on the record. It's not going to be something that's going to be different. We didn't go really crazy on making things affected or anything like that. What you hear on a record is going to be what you hear on the show for the most part. There might be
very raw.
8. Yeah. Yep.
And Doug, what about your inspirations?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy for me to say I have a lot of inspirations and stuff like that, but to get a background on what I listened to growing up, some of the biggest things I listened to, some of the guys have already said already, but listened to a lot of Isley Brothers, Jimi Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Santana, and then going on further, listening to like Jeff Beck, a lot of jazz artists and stuff like that. And then, a little further in life, paying attention more to a lot of gospel players and things like that, even contemporary Christian music styles and stuff like that, as well as, of course, U2 and stuff like that. So I kind of take a lot of those things and put it all together so that it's not just a one-trick pony where I'm doing one particular style or one particular sound. And that's something that I spoke kind of very specifically especially with Lawrence about this record, wanting to make sure that every song, even maybe to my own detriment of like losing my signature sound, I wanted every song to have its own kind of guitar sound. And so actually, well, my board's away, but all my sounds are all they're unique for each and every song and stuff like that, so that it is appropriate. It's not just that, oh, this is the only way that I play it, or the only sound, or only way, things that I have. It's just whatever fits the need and the feel of that song. So that kind of helps bring it all together for us.
And for this EP, so take us a little bit through the process of how long has it taken to get this EP out from like start to finish?
3 weeks. 3 weeks tops.
It took about COVID week. 3 COVID weeks.
Yeah, that's a better way to say it. COVID like really put like a huge speed bump in the process. I think we were right in the middle of recording, honestly, when COVID was like at the peak. So a lot of us, and I'll raise my hand, like super apprehensive about getting together. And we all do things like with the public and things like that, and have families at home. So
yeah,
wanted to be as careful as possible.
I don't have any.
That's what he says.
The long answer is it took a long time. It took a long time.
Yeah. We probably started 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Two and a half, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I know that Chuck dropped a beat to me early on when we were recording down in Pittsburgh for David DeMarco, and he was like, "Yo, listen to this that we just like recorded or whatever." I was like, "Oh, dude, that's sick." So I did hear a little bit of it. I don't know what the song was called, but how many do you have on this new EP? How many songs are being released?
I know for a fact that it's 4 because I'm compilating a disc right now, even as we speak. I swear to God, and things crashed on me over here, so I'm hoping that the last 8 or 9 work out just the way I want them to.
So what is that, about 13 then?
13, yeah. No. Well, on the EP, there's only 4 on the EP itself.
Yeah.
Okay, 4 on the EP itself.
Yeah, the full length will have 10, with one live cut that we're gonna do this Saturday.
Right.
And there's gonna be is that cover going on there? Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right.
What song on the EP are you specifically looking forward to the audience hearing? Do you guys have a favorite song on the EP?
Every single one of them.
Yeah. It's tough to, especially since, for a lot of them, since I've penned most of them, I mean, it's kind of hard to say, oh God, this is my favorite tune. I think I'm more excited about the live song that we're going to put on. I think that's going to be should be really interesting if my voice holds out and they don't kick me out of the band before that.
Nah,
I mean, they're all great, but I think the title cut is the one for me. I think just the amount of dynamics from start to beginning for the world we live in it's just a full spectrum, just like the band. It starts like very just one instrument all the way to just like full out, just wilding out. So I think that's probably like my favorite of the album.
He's only saying that because he came up with the bass line. No, it is. So I have to agree with Lawrence on that point where the dynamics just goes up and up and up and up, and then it comes down and then back up again. It's a very emotional song, and and I love how Purcell delivers on that song. And even though on the EP it's not the last song, when we do the full length, it's going to be the last song because it's that powerful. I want people to think about, not just the song, but their own lives, their own relationships, the world that they live in and what's going on in their lives. I think it's very important to have that as the last song on the full record.
With the exception of Doug's reception solo, it's probably like that's probably like my favorite Doug solo.
Oh, which song?
The world we live in.
You beat that guitar
yeah.
money.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
That was just powerful,
Yeah.
And Doug, did you answer that question by chance? I don't know. Did you have a favorite song on the EP coming up?
Man, I guess I have some favorite solos. I don't. It's hard to say favorite song. I'm not trying to say it like that, but I actually I'm very excited about kind of just releasing out and playing with some of these sounds and just doing something different. But I can agree with the rest of the guys. I think that's a really cool song. I like I'm not to spoil it all, but as you get there's some real dynamics to that song where there's an intro, there's kind of just your more typical parts to it, and then there's this whole ending and vamp part that's at the end that's just is pretty brutal. It's pretty great. So that's what makes that song real great.
As a filmmaker, I know there's certain scenes when I do like films and short films and even just little segments here and there on the YouTube channel. And I'm like, oh, okay, this scene, like it's kind of like a filler scene, but I don't really know how it's going to turn out. I was like, there's some things that like, I don't know, as a writer and a director, I kind of put in the back burner. I'm like, okay, like this could be the make or break moment. Is it iffy? Is it not? And then do you guys ever find that sometimes there's songs that surprise you? It's like, okay, this is like, obviously you're putting your heart and soul into it. But is there like songs that kind of have that shock effect? Like, wow, this turned out a lot better than I thought. Does that ever happen for you guys?
Well, yeah, with this one, like with the world that we live in, like for a while, for the hook of the song, I just was playing, I don't know, very vanilla power chords, and then I switched it over. I wish I don't have the track in my computer, but I switched it over a little bit, and I kind of changed it over to this almost like Foo Fighters sound, and
Yeah. Yep.
and that's kind of like changed it all over, So like
For the
it
chorus?
sometimes, yeah, dude, that fixed the whole thing. So
That was it.
yeah, as I think I don't know, I'm trying to remember, were we all there when I did that? I think so, and I was like, yeah, that's so much better, because it's one thing when you're playing it live and you think it's working great and you're just playing it and you've only been playing like just in the live situation. But when you start having to actually listen back to it and you're like, huh, I mean, it's right, but it's not right. It's like, okay, what do we got to do? And so that, yeah, not to harp on that one song, but that's easy enough. it's easier to do it there. Or that one, since it's fresh in my mind.
I think I would have to say for me, it would be like Turn It On Again. Turn It On Again was like, it was like the song where it's a good song already. And I think we did a good job like making it our own with Chuck's, interpretation of the beat. And then, with just us kind of putting our own feel to it. It just feels like a new tune, like all together.
Yeah.
Just as a heads up, guys, I did I sneaked it out to a good musician friend of mine, and he said we play it better than Genesis ever could.
That's
Was
crazy.
that Collins that you snuck it out to? I hope so.
What's that?
I said, was that Phil Collins that you snuck that song to?
Oh, I think Phil was fooling me at that point, saying, "Okay, I want my royalties."
They're coming. Trust me, they're coming.
Yeah.
It's a matter of time, but they coming.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you, BMI.
On your social medias, now obviously you guys said about COVID kind of slowed down the process, but over the past few months to like a year, I've seen you guys have performed at different places and different venues. I guess I'll ask a question: which one's been your favorite to perform at, and how many exactly have you kind of done over the course of a year or two?
My favorite venue is the one that lets me get up and play. I just want to play.
Also, I by the way, Purcell, I have to say, I saw the video of your cover to Superstition, by the way, or when you were up on stage. I did love that, by the way. That was beautiful. So well done.
We're laughing.
My wife is probably laughing her head off right now. She knows how much I detest that song.
Oh, so you actually didn't like that song?
So the thing with me in that song is I've been doing it probably for about 40 years with one band over and over again. One of the local bands here, the Savage Brothers. Anytime they see me, that's the song I'm playing, and my wife gets a trip out of it because she knows I can't stand to do it anymore. So it's just a big laugh for her. But I appreciate it. Thank you.
I think one of my favorite places that we played was the Arch Street Tavern in Hartford.
100%.
You know, it was great because the crowd, for an original band, the crowd loved us, and we were playing one of our songs, and they were singing along to it. You know, we just kind of stopped playing and let them sing, and it was just really powerful. It was a great feeling, you know. So we need more places like that here in Connecticut.
That place always has a great vibe. What'd you say?
I said it was a great sleep deprived show.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
But yeah, that place always has a really good vibe, and they always, really, for whatever reason, seem to find really great musicians, great bands. You see Doobie Powell playing there. You see so many good bands that play at that spot. So it's always a good feeling. I don't know what makes that place any different, but it's really good. It's really nice to play there.
Yeah, and Purcell, I'm falling asleep in the.
Perfect. Had to catch a nap, man. Had to catch a nap. Nobody realized what was going on. That's all that matters.
No, but you made it look good. You made it look stylish, man. So it was cool. I was like, he's really digging in. He's digging into them Z's.
Gotta get a nap in.
Now, what was your least favorite place?
Don't
answer that.
Don't nobody answer that.
That's bad.
We
don't do it.
So my least favorite place was the one that didn't let me play.
The one that paid you the least, right?
Nah.
You know what? I do have a least favorite place, and Doug remembers this place when they. I really wish I could remember the name of it, but do you remember when CBP? We were told that they were used to a better class of musician there.
Oh man, I remember the comment. I don't remember the place.
It was somewhere in Manchester that's not in business anymore. So again, I guess that kind of shows how they were.
Like they told you that after you performed?
No. So we had a pseudo manager that got us the gig, and I had come there and I had played there for an open mic, and they were like, "Oh yeah, so you're gonna be here?" I'm like, "Yeah. My whole band's gonna be here." And they're like, "Oh, this is great." And then a day later, I get it from our manager going, yeah, they said that you're not ready to perform on their stage yet, that they have a better class of musician that they want to have there." And I went, "I've heard their bands there. Better than what? It's like they pretty much thought we were going to just be playing hip hop or something like that, because we didn't look like the typical like cover band. It was just weird, but like, and I remember raising a stink about it, and then all of a sudden I get a call back. "Oh no, they want you to play. They didn't want you to think it was." I'm like, "I don't want to play there now. Are you crazy?"
Yeah, I don't blame you.
So I really was. It was right next to the Cosmic Omelet over there somewhere.
I think I have an idea of where that was. I have an idea. Yeah, but I'm not gonna put it out there.
I'll burn them. I'll burn them. I don't care. Like I said, they're not in business.
They're not in business anymore. It's a Mexican restaurant now, which is a very interesting, a very interesting Mexican restaurant now. Yeah.
Oh, no Mexicans work there, huh?
They were closed on Cinco de Mayo.
Wow. They needed Mexicans to work there, I guess. That one confused me. I said, I wanted to go try out a new Mexican place, and I walked in there. I walked over there, or not walked over. I got out of my car. I walked up to the door, and I was like, "What is this? Cinco de Mayo. This is your day." I was, all right, whatever.
This is out of any day you should be open, this should be the one.
I know.
It's like a pizza place not being open during Super Bowl. I mean, come on now.
Oh,
Yeah,
just losing
yeah. If
money.
you have a pizza or wing place, yeah, you're crazy if you're not open on that Sunday. You extended hours or something.
So social media is of course a big part of, especially the 21st century and what artists do and being able to showcase their talents. For this EP, how are you guys planning on marketing it on social media?
a lot of begging in the streets.
Well, me and Zuckerberg are working on that actually right now. Oh,
Yeah, big meeting with Buck, do you?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've been doing word of mouth, I've been posting every once in a while here and there. And I'm trying to get these other guys to post, but they don't do it. So I got nothing interesting to say, on Facebook or
a lot.
so I don't really post that much, but because I have friends who are like really clever with what they come up with, and I'm dying in hysterics just seeing their posts, and I'm like, yeah, I got nothing, so I'll just, but yeah, mainly word of mouth, on social media and in person, and we'll actually have the EP physical copy available at the show. So, and I tell people, okay, come down and hang out. We're doing a live recording. You get to be a part of it. You get to be a part of the album if you come down. So hopefully that's some incentive for them to stop in and hang.
Well,
And where's that taking place
at?
at, just so the audience knows?
We are playing at Bleachers Bar in Bristol, Connecticut. So if you're out of state, come on through. We'll leave a light on for you.
This is a kind of thing, and I this is not a cop out because I do say this with, I play with another group and we say the same thing, but this is true about both groups. The one another group I play for, and this is a type of band that you'd have to experience live to really kind of get a better understanding for it. There's some other ones, and there's other people that I play for where if you just heard the recording, it would make sense. Or and I'm not saying that our album doesn't make sense by itself, but when you experience the live aspect of it, it makes a lot more sense, and it's a I feel like is the best way to experience it. So I think that's also the best way to market it. And so as we continue to play live, to capitalize on those shows and make sure that people understand and know, and just go from there.
I mean, me personally, I do open mics without these guys all the time, and of course I hear oh my God, you should be in a band. I actually am in two of them. Let's here's where we're playing next. Why don't you show up? So I've gotten a few people to say there, oh yeah, we're coming down to this, we're coming down to that. As a matter of fact, Chuck and I played at a place. What was that? Was that Friday, Chuck?
Yeah, Tipping Chair.
Yeah, the Tipping Chair Friday, and just from us doing something with a different band, we garnered, oh my God, I can't wait to see you guys in your band play live. So
yeah,
we had the energy, the fire, earth, wind, and fire. Yeah, no, that's actually spot on what Doug said about it. It's definitely an experience to see us live, and I've said it once and I'll say it again. Purcell is a hell of a front man, and you got to come down and see that alone, because it's powerful. And Lawrence, he's very laid back. I was happy what he said. He says, I need to move around a little bit more on stage, so. But he's holding it down, man. He's like, he's the calm, cool, and even though he looks calm on stage, there's a lot going on with what he's doing. Sometimes I just look over at him like, where the hell did that come from? And
you get one of those with every gig with Lawrence.
well, me being the drummer and I'm so close to what he's doing, I'm a little bit more sensitive to what he's doing and where he's going. I get a lot of those moments, and then I'll jump in on it with him, and then we'll have fun with it. And Doug, he's such a dynamic player. Like he comes up with all these different sounds, and it just takes it to a whole nother level when he does that. And when he does that, we all go with him and take it to that whole other level. And so it definitely is an experience. It's almost like listening to a Doors album or going to see the Doors. Now, obviously I wasn't alive, when Jim Morrison died, but I can only imagine what those shows were like.
When they were in tune.
Yeah. You mean when they were over?
Yeah. The Doors were known to like not be quite in tune, just to be that little bit out of tune, and they were just like, "Whatever, we're playing."
Exactly, but it was the whole, the whole vibe,
right?
That's
right.
The four of them together, just was just.
And you guys, at the beginning of this podcast, one of you guys said that you guys have known each other for years, dating back to like the teenage years, and therefore, so of course, you guys have always had this bond as a group, not only as friends but musicians. But how has this over whether it was COVID or the Thaddeus Black Band, how has it brought you closer together, made you bond more?
Oh, we hate each other.
Yeah.
No, I think well, like the little backstory here, Doug, Lawrence, and I, we've cut records and done tours together and all that stuff, and so we always had that bond. And I think I don't think it's any different, in my opinion, because for me it's always been there. That brotherhood has always been there, and these were the cats that I chose to be in this band because of that, and because I knew we worked well together with other people on their records at their shows. How cool would it be to do our own stuff? And
right.
And it became everything that I imagined it to be. So it's definitely the force is powerful with these ones. And Purcell, he's worked with Doug, so pretty much he's been a part of it the whole time, just on a different spectrum. And
right.
And the four of us together is just makes it work, and it's glue, and it's definitely a brotherhood. We have complete fun together. I remember one of our first meetings before we even started playing together. Do you remember this, when we were at Denny's and we had the whole place cracked up?
Oh yeah.
And people were coming up to us and said, "Who are you guys? Are you guys, a comedy show or whatever?" And I said, "No, we're a band." So the fact that before the four of us started playing together, that people noticed us, they noticed our vibe, and this is before we picked up instruments as a collective, as a unit. So that to me is a testament of something that's really powerful here.
I've pretty much been part of like Doug's whole, I could be literally part of the family at his house. I've been there for every major milestone, like literally every one. First girlfriend, first baby, first wife. It's just all there. Not in that order, by the way.
Glad he didn't say first.
So he and I literally, he's been my right hand man for, we're going to 15 years now.
Right, it's got to be, yeah.
So
a long time.
He and I have been doing things forever, a long time.
He and I have been doing the damn thing. I'm only 19.
And we've been doing the damn thing forever.
Yeah, and it's funny because there are those people that you've met at a point in your life, but you don't remember how you met. That's how much the bond is there. It's like you've known them forever. You've known them for and that's how I feel with these guys.
That's true. That's very true.
So,
I mean, this whole thing didn't almost work out. I mean, if I hadn't run into Chuck again at the gas station and go, "Hey,
right,
are you still planning on doing something?"
And I was like, "No, I didn't want to start a band." But I'm glad I did. Because this is something awesome and something great and something powerful, and hopefully we can get a lot of people to experience what we experience, even though they may not be on the stage with us, but they're a part of it with us because they are there with us, so they get to experience the same things that we do, just on the other side of the fence.
So you guys, of course, have shared a lot of your story, and I don't know if we covered this. I guess I have one last question: is where did the Adventures of Thaddeus Black come from? Like, what reference does that have, or what's the meaning behind that title?
So this goes back to the days of when I was in a band with a mutual friend of all of ours, who actually it was Jamie Brennan, who was kind of like the nucleus of this band getting together, at Doug's party. But I was in a band with Jamie, probably like 15 years ago. And he had this was supposed to be an album title. And so the album title was The Adventures of Thaddeus Black, but that album never happened. So I decided to use it as a band name back in 2010. We only did like 3 or 4 shows, and then the band split up, and this was a different different incarnation of the band. This is the newer, the Thaddeus Black 2.0. And and so it really came from I think the name Thaddeus actually came from one of Jamie's like relatives. I think that was like one of his relatives' names. And so he decided to make the album out of that. But again, the album never happened. And Jamie, we had a conversation one time, and we decided that, this guy, Thaddeus Black, he's like a funk superhero who's bringing like good music to the world and all that stuff. And then we said, who is Thaddeus Black? And we both looked at each other, and without missing a beat, we both said Harold Sargent. And Harold is a great dude. He just passed away in 2020. But Harold got my dad started with the Wood Brass and Steel Band, which later became the Sugar Hill House Band. He helped Bootsy Collins he helped out Bootsy Collins when Bootsy got his gig with James Brown. He helped out a lot of musicians and just knew good music. And even in his 70s, you see him at a Living Color show, jumping up and down, and just digging the sounds and all that stuff. And I literally seen him do this. And if something was really funky, he'll bite your shoulder, so he'll be like, that's some funky shit. He'll literally bite your shoulder, but Harold is responsible for a lot of people's careers. So we talked about dressing him up in a Superman costume with the T on it, and we're like, he wouldn't go for that. We told him about it. He's like, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, of course I'll do it. And then a few years later, he goes, when am I going to dress up in the Superman costume? Unfortunately, we never got to do that for him. But this album and this band name is definitely an homage to Harold and who he was to not just the Hartford community, but the Hartford music community, but to a lot of well-known artists that are out there. And if you watch The Matrix, it's the scene with when they were walking down the street and Neo sees the lady with the red dress, you hear that drum groove. That's actually Harold playing. And we just found this out like a couple of years ago. And it was for a band called Skull Snaps that he recorded, I want to say in like the 70s or whatever. And whoever did the music for The Matrix, they used that groove for that one scene. So Harold is definitely, he's definitely one of the good ones, and I miss him. I miss him to death. So that's pretty much where the name came from.
No, that's awesome. And good inspiration, and the fact that like you can pinpoint to a certain person, basically name that after and stuff like that. Like that's awesome. So guys, thank you for joining me. It's been a blast. And
no problem.
Where can people find your work at? What's your social medias that they can potentially follow you at?
Lawrence, you're the tech dude. Go ahead.
Well, the website is www.thaddeusblackband.com, and from there, all of our social media is there for us individually as well as the band.
Yeah, and then we have Thaddeus Black Band on Instagram, and we have the Adventures of Thaddeus Black on Facebook.
Yep, you can get it all from the website. All the links are there. The album will be there as well. So when we do drop the album on 3/11, you can go there and you'll be able to go to your preferred digital platform, whether it's Spotify or any of the digital music platforms. And I believe we'll probably do the same thing we did with the single. It will be available on Bandcamp probably the week before for those who want to purchase it early. And at Bandcamp, you can name your price. You don't have to pay just the $4. You could pay $20 if you wanted to, and it all goes back to the band.
If you want, that would be great.
So it all goes back to the band. I mean, we have a whole another EP2 that is on its way. That's in pretty much post production at this point. So it definitely helps further the process.
Ladies and gentlemen, Percival Jackson, Lawrence White, Chuck Peterson, and Doug Wilson, everybody. Thank you all for joining me on this episode.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.